Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 120 in the book of Genesis. Today's title is Stairway to Heaven. I think that title was stolen from this passage. So did you ever stand before a waterfall and realize that God was creator and God had the special impression that God was creator? Well, wasn't he creator before that? And you just kind of realized it at that moment? Well, a similar thing happens to Jacob in our story today when he finds out that heaven and earth are connected, they're linked, God's real, God's with him, and he just forgets it. So Jacob has this kind of come to Jesus moment, or at least a coming to Jesus moment. The process continues for another 20 years or so. At the end of 20 years, he says, let's arise and go up to Bethel. So he's going to come back to this place. This place is Bethel that we're going to talk about, so that I may make there an altar to the God who answers me in the day of my distress and has been with me wherever I've gone. So he has a second coming to Jesus moment 20 years from now, but this is the one we're talking about today. So Jacob was deceived, we talked about it yesterday, that God wasn't here, that he wasn't active, that he wasn't creator, and he was wrong about all that. So now he finds out that God cares, he makes a difference, that God hates sin, that he's a promise keeper. He's not only a promise keeper to his grandpa Abraham and his father Isaac, but he's a promise keeper to him personally. So do we have a personal God? And should I receive him personally? That's kind of the moment that Jacob has in the story. So let's read in chapter 10. This is Genesis 28, verse 10, chapter 28, verse 10. Jacob left Beersheba and went to Haran, and he came to a certain place and stayed there that night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, there was a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it. Another translation can be said, the Lord stood beside him. So one of the two. I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give you and to your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and the east and the north and to the south. And in you and your offspring shall all the families of earth be blessed. Behold, this is a great line. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you will go, and I will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't know it. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. So he realizes the Lord is here. He gets this light bulb moment. And the Lord, he finds the Lord saying, I am the keeper of promises still. I'm this Hesed, this covenant-keeping God. I remember my promises to you. So three things. I'm going to give you the land, and I'm going to give you a bunch of people. And then especially today, I think, is he gets the Lord himself. I am here. You get me. I am your reward. I am your portion, like he said to Abraham back in chapter 12. So the Lord stands beside him or maybe above him and basically says, I am with you. I will keep you wherever you will go. I will bring you back to this land, and I will not leave you. And then he like literally draws this picture of this bridge between heaven and earth. For one thing, God made the earth so that the earth is going to one day be his home. Heaven is his home now, but his earth is going to be his home. And we have access, this connection between, angelic ministers, or most importantly, is the Lord himself. So in John chapter 1 in the New Testament, it says, truly, truly, I say to you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. So Jesus is describing himself as this bridge, as this stairway. So Jesus is this ultimate bridge. He's the ladder. This passage is also called Jacob's ladder. So he is the access point between heaven and earth. Jesus is. He is the earthly house of God. He is the way that stinky people like you and me are restored to God. So though we may want to ascend to heaven, such as the Tower of Babel, and reach God and reach up to God, the big point is that God comes down and Emmanuel's with us. So Jacob's response is just precious. He says, there is a Lord, the Lord is here, and oops, I didn't know it, that there was a real God who was really like this. Oops, I am a knucklehead, and I've been a knucklehead. And he's kind of afraid, and he realizes, hey, I owe the Lord stuff that I haven't been given him. All right, so if we map out your life and my life, let's make it practical here. We must have an encounter like this with God. We must have this light bulb from God, a knock that gets answered. So nobody was reading about Iceland recently. It's founded in 1000 AD, and there was a decision to make it a Christian nation, and they put it on the flag. And for hundreds of years, every person who got an identity card was registered literally as a Christian. But that's not the way that God works. Is everybody has to pursue him and make a decision for him, for himself, and for himself or herself. So when this light bulb goes on, like it did for Jacob here, we have to answer that. So if there's a knock on the door, let's answer it. So the realization, like Jacob, this is my prayer for us today. Let's have a realization like Jacob did today, that God is near. He is here. His ministers are currently active, and the Savior has come. So we get to heaven, and heaven gets to us on this back of Jesus. So far, Jacob gets this light bulb from God, and at least starts his spiritual journey with God. So I hope that's for you as well today. I hope you enjoy your waterfall. Thanks for listening.